Just quickly, Mr. Oloyede, I hate to disturb your train of thoughts, but I just want to quickly read a tweet out here to you and ask if you agree with it. This is from Obi Ezekwesili, who says, one can regard the DSS operation as an extraordinary intervention to wake up a willfully lethargic bench and bar to compulsorily tackle corruption. Do you agree with her?
I agree 100% with her. I agree with her. That's why I said the DSS operation is the proverbial black pot. The pap that is coming out of it is what is happening now. The NJC are suddenly woken up and there are rules coming out now.
But can we rule out politics from all of it?
Oh, there is politics, but whether it's because of politics or because of hatred or it's because of corruption or whatever, something good is going to come out of this.
Will it?
The good thing now, in terms of trial of judges, going to court and all that, I don't think anything will come out of that.
Oh.
But what will come out of it is that Nigerians have also been awakened to the reality that, oh, there is a big cesspool. There is a marriage between the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature, and that it is them against us. Not that we should take sides with all these three arms of government.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll return afterwards. Do join us again. Welcome back. You know, Mr. Oloyede, when you did say that Mr. President's body language suggests he wants to fight corruption, but you know, there are many who they looked at several scenarios in this country and they say, look, this is a question of time. At the end of the day, they don't think that we'll get anyone who will be behind bars, because it means eventually, who knows, Mr. President and maybe Mr. Vice President may be on their own in this fight against corruption. Do you agree with that?
Well, the bulk of the burden lies on Mr. President. Let me take it back to the Obasanjo era. He was the one who set up the EFCC Act. He started the process, but you see, there was an interagency, interministerial cooperation under that, during that regime. Let me break it down. What happened, you see, when they keep talking, they said, oh, Obasanjo was able to pay off our debts, and he left quite a huge mass of money in our account. Now, how was he able to do that? He did not just fight corruption using EFCC to pick individuals. Are you with me? For instance, Maokwe referred me to the statement by Mrs. Obi Ezekwesili, and she was known under that regime as Madam Due Process, right? Now, due process, you see, what we have at the moment, and that's where Mr. President seems to be getting it wrong, or he's not getting the right kind of advice. What we have under that regime, which we don't have now, is a situation where the agencies that were set up, the bodies that were set up to fight corruption, they were proactive, not reactive.
So you think this one is reactive?
They just react. They just pick a target and they go after that target. Now, it is very expensive to try to kill corruption after the act. It is more expensive to track that kind of stolen money and get it back, because it would have, the value would have gone down.
Do you think if anybody, Parliament's important, do you think if anybody walks into civil service now, you'll be afraid, or people will be afraid to ask you for anything?
Oh, no, that's the problem now. It's going on. Let me give you, look, I like giving life cases. So let me give you a scenario. Customs. I have a friend who has decided to relocate back to Nigeria from the US. She has bought in her personal items with a very big car. And it was initially assessed at there were various kinds of assessment. She goes from one clearing agent to one customs officer, and they give her different kinds of assessment. That's a problem. Why can't you walk into a place and say, you must know that this is the amount that this will cost me? In Nigeria, you never know. So she has about 4 different kinds of assessments from 4 different persons, including customs officers and clearing agents. Now, she then says, okay, let me go for the lower. Then she begs, oh, can't you reduce this for me? In the process of doing that, they say, okay, we will reduce it for you by maybe $1 million plus. But by the time she gets there, they say, oh, it has entered demurrage. The demurrage added to it brings this back to the same amount. And he said, okay, let me now do that. They said, okay, because we have helped you to reduce it, bring 300,000 naira. Then he said, oh, 300? What's that? He gives 300. Then they say, oh, we've done our bit. That's the next department. But you have to hold 200,000 naira. This is life. That's customs. Nobody is looking at that. Now, what I'm trying to drive at is the bulk of corruption in terms of stealing money happens at the executive level. The intermediate level is when you get to the legislature where you have oversight functions. Have you done this? Did you put this money here? But then budget padding comes in. Then the final level is the judiciary after the act has been committed. You now want the court to clear the whole mess up. Now, what I'm now trying to tell you is that it will be proactive for the government at the executive level, like Obasanjo had Madam Due Process. I'm not saying Mr. President should appoint her as a minister, but she did her job because everybody was afraid to present bogus estimates. And that's what we need.
And if they have to appoint her, nothing wrong with that. Mr. John Oloyede, thank you for coming on this morning. Well, that's the show today. Food for thought for all. So, thank you for watching. I'm Chamberlain Uso.
Well, it was a pleasure having John Oloyede here. Well, it's a wrap on the show, sadly. Many thanks for watching, Sulaiman Alede.
And here I was thinking it's Friday.
That looks like Friday. Markwe, doesn't it?
And Maokwe Ogun, thank you.
I almost said